Welcome back to Everything College. I'm your host, Christina Parker, supporting your college navigation while minimizing debt. So I received a lot of questions about the Higher Education Emergency Relief Fund. And if you are like, what is that? I encourage you to go look at my previous video and subscribe to this YouTube channel. So in today's YouTube video, we're going to be talking about Cal States. In upcoming YouTube videos, we're going to be talking about UCs, community colleges, and HBCUs. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you all right now. So okay, so on this page, if you're curious on how I got here, I encourage you to go to my TikTok or even go to my previous video. And if you're still confused, I don't mind making a video on how I got here. But in small, just go to the website that's above, www.2.ed.gov. You'll be able to go to student aid portion, and then there's an allocation table, and it'll bring you to here. So we have Cal State University, Fullerton, East Bay, Long Beach, Los Angeles, Dominguez Hills, San Bernardino, Cal State Poly Pomona, Chico, Fresno, Sacramento, San Diego, Northridge, San Fran, San Jose, Sonoma, Cal State University, Stanislaus are some of the universities that we're going to be focusing on. But if your university is here on this screen, then that means that your university has received money for 2021, right? And I know that these are not all the Cal States. Some of the Cal States are buried in here. They just have a different OPE number. And I did look up some schools like Cal State, Monterey Bay. And unfortunately, I was not able to locate their OPE ID, and I wasn't able to find them on here, but they did receive funding last year. So if I continue to do research and I do find any more information on that, I will make sure to update you all on that. So we're gonna go here first. This is Cal Poly Pomona. So they do not have their guidance up for 2021, but they did receive money. That means that you all who qualify will also be receiving money. There's no real information on their site. I think that, let me see if I go back. Yeah, they just said that, Cal State, Poly Pomona, and CSUs are still waiting on guidance from the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act, signed into law December 27, 2020. We will post additional information here on the Cal State website, which is where I was just at, but there isn't any guidance for 2021 at this time. So they did receive the money. I do not exactly know what guidance that they're referring to because guidance has been put out already, and there's Cal States that have already disseminated that money, but that's what they're saying. So I would just wait. I would make sure that you're checking your email, and I would give them a call like in a week or so if you do go to Cal Poly Pomona. Towards the end of this video, I will also be giving advice if I do not go through your university about what you can do in order to find more information out and access that money. But for Cal Poly Pomona, I would wait a week. And sometime I'm filming this video on Wednesday of what's today's date? March 17th. I'll encourage y'all to wait until Wednesday of next week or even Friday and give them a call or check this website. And hopefully they'll be able to give you a better timeline. Yeah. But Cal State Poly Pomona doesn't have any information, unfortunately. And now we go to Cal State University, Long Beach. So them two, they just said Student Aid Institution Support Supplemental Act is now being planned. So they're in the planning stages. I wait to the end of this video. I'm going to be giving advice to all of you Cal Staters out there on how to get information to best set yourself up into a position to apply. So then we're jumping over to Cal State Fullerton. So They received $20 million from the CARES Act. Eligible students must be current FAFSA free application. Is it 2020? No, it's not 2020. So there's no 2021 information on this either. This round of HEERF is a little bit more flexible than previously. So just because it's talking about like FAFSA and things of that nature, they have more flexibility to extend eligibility, if that makes sense. So you can go off of these numbers to get an idea of what it could be for 2021, but there's a possibility that this number or the funds can be increased and or eligibility can be increased for those who weren't able to apply or receive it for last semester to receive it this semester. So now we're gonna jump over to Cal State LA. So Cal State LA, they do have their information for 2021 posted. You can find this on y'all's site. So it's distributing COVID-19 pandemic emergency aid based on 3 shared CSU priorities: student need, equity, timeliness of allocation. What is Cal State LA CARES HEERF II emergency aid funding? So it just gives you a brief overview of that. Who is eligible to receive HEERF II? All enrolled degree-seeking Cal State students who have submitted a FAFSA for the school year 2020 through 2021 will be considered for HEERF II emergency aid funding. Guidance from the U.S. Department indicates that students with deferred action for child arrivals, DACA, undocumented, or international students are not eligible for HEERF II emergency aid funding. So this is, so look, like I previously stated, right, there was confusing guidance on if DACA, international, and undocumented individuals would be able to receive this money, right? The Department of Education, someone from the Trump administration was saying, no, it's explicitly, they are not eligible due to a law that requires them to work, right? People from the Biden administration was saying, yes, DACA, undocumented, and international students are eligible, right? And from NASFA, watch the previous video for all this information, but from NASFA was saying that universities can use their own discretion. So what I'm assuming, right, because like Cal State San Bernardino gave their DACA international and undocumented students money, but they only received $13-something million from HEERF, but they were awarded $14 million to that section. So I'm assuming, making an assumption that they utilized funding from another source to give $1 million dedicated to DACA, undocumented, and international students. But I'm going to do more research on this and really dive into the policies and the everything just around this to see if DACA, undocumented international students actually can qualify for this money. It's not a little, it's definitely disheartening to see that. When will this be dispersed? So HEERF II emergency aid will be dispersed automatically to eligible students. Students do not need to apply to receive this funding. So there are some universities that are just going to focus strictly on, financial aid or X, Y, and Z. And then there's other universities that are going to send out an application in order for you to fill it out. Those students who have set up direct deposit accounts will receive the funds via direct deposit. Students who do not set up direct deposit will receive check via U.S. mail as their address or record get. You can also request for them to put this on a Visa card if you're someone who does not have a bank account set up. So it says that the expected family contribution on file, time distribution used to determine the financial aid need, spring semester enrollment. These are just some other factors in additional. Enrollment status, academic, load, full-time, 3/4, half-time. Most students, regardless of need, will receive baseline amounts of assistance. The award will be prorated for students who are not enrolled full-time. So I encourage you to look at the previous video because it does also talk about how students who have graduated, right, can receive this money, but it is up to the discretion of universities. And I always tell people, just because this says, right, undocumented DACA recipients, international students, or recent graduates, are not included in this, or it doesn't explicitly say that, doesn't mean that you can't receive money, right? I'm going to talk about this maybe in another video. I might save it to the end of this video, but I definitely do have some advice for you all out there who are maybe feeling disheartened, maybe feeling, you know, like bad because you're not included, but you do need this money, right? I definitely have advice for you all out there. So this is just like a round amount that they're going to give you. Expected full-time enrolled students will receive $1,000, 3/4 $900, half-time full students receive $800. This is expected family contribution, so forth, so on. I definitely encourage you to look at your university site if you are a Cal State LA person, to go see all this information for yourself. In addition to everything that I'm talking about, I'm going to link it all in the description below. So now we're going over to Cal State Sacramento. So it gives you a little brief overview of what HEERF is. Is this money taxable? In my previous video, I talked about that. It's not taxable income. You do not have to report it on your taxes. It's not going to mess up if you're on unemployment or if you're receiving SNAP benefits or any of those things. Do I have to report the emergency grant? The same question. How much HEERF II funding will students receive as grants? So it talks about how Sacramento State has received $17.8 million in HEERF II funding to provide grants to students. Congress intends for students to use the funds for expenses such as food, housing, course materials, healthcare, and childcare related distribution of their studies caused by COVID-19 pandemic. It also talks about eligibility. All students enrolled in degree programs at Sac State as of February 19, 2021, the university's spring enrollment census date, will receive direct payments. This includes undergraduate and post-baccalaureate students, graduate or credential. Students eligible for financial aid will receive HEERF II grants for funding allocated. Sorry, y'all. I've been talking a lot today, so I'm definitely stumbling for my words. To Sacramento State for CRRSSA. International and undocumented students will receive identical payments from university funds. So, so basically, those who received Pell Grants and are enrolled in 7 or more units will receive $850. Those that have received or are Pell Grant eligible and enrolled in 6 or less units will receive $700. If you do not have no FAFSA or a Pell Grant, you're enrolled in 7 or more units, you receive $750. And if you have no FAFSA or no Pell Grant and you're in 6 or less units, you will receive $600. Can I still apply? Yes, Sac State's side additional $1.5 million university share of HEERF funds and will be allocating to supplemental grants for students in financial crisis. How can you apply? Complete the application. So the application is on the site for you to complete. And yeah, so this is a dope little handy informational thing that they have for you all. So I definitely encourage you all to go to y'all student websites. There's unfortunately some universities that have not put up that information yet. But if you would like to have like just a little bit of a guidance on how much you could receive, I will look at 2020 year. So I did say that I was going to provide just a little bit of information on suggestions for those who are left out, right? If you've seen, right, there's a difference. There are some schools and universities that said we're going to be basing it off of FAFSA. And then, right, we just seen Sac State that said we're going to give it through application process, and you don't actually have to have a FAFSA or be Pell Grant eligible to receive these funds, but you will receive less if you're in this category and you're in that category, right? It's really up to the university's discretion, but just because your university, right, it said they're basing it off of Pell Grant or they're basing it off of your financial aid, right? And or whatever, you just don't fall into certain categories. I encourage you to reach out to your university, to reach out to your counselor, to reach out to whoever and ask them if there's additional funds, if you receive less, right? If you can increase that amount of money. I hope all is well, and don't forget to always stay studious.